Good day, and welcome back to the Zoe Japan podcast. My name is Anneri, and it's my privilege to be your host again today. Now, usually our podcast focuses on child trafficking, but today we are going to take a slightly different approach and share some information about labor trafficking of foreign migrant workers here in Japan. And today's episode was originally recorded as a video interview in 2023, but as the information is still relevant, we really just wanted to get it out there and share it more widely with our podcast listeners as well. So with that, let's join the interview. Japan has a declining birth rate and aging population, leading to an extreme labor shortage. This makes it an attractive destination for foreign migrant workers, especially from emerging markets where there may not be many job opportunities. Unfortunately, this also creates the opportunity for traffickers to exploit the vulnerability of these workers. Joining me today is Mariko Yamaoka, Director of Not For Sale Japan, and she will help us to get a better understanding of what is happening here in Japan. Mariko, welcome to Zoe.
Hi, thank you.
So let's talk about the Technical Intern Training Program. Can you share with our viewers more what that program is about?
Okay. So the Technical Intern Training Program, we call it TITP, is a government-sanctioned program. And the workers come and they learn a certain skill in Japanese enterprises. Mm-hmm. So the purpose of this program is international contribution, where those workers from the emerging countries, they acquire the skills and they go back to their home country and contribute to the development of that country. But this is very nominal, and Japan suffered a labor shortage. So it's a good way for the Japanese industry to fill in the gap and hire more workers. And for the workers as well, it's a good way to come to Japan and earn money.
Mm-hmm. So from what you're describing, the original intention of this program is really very positive, uplifting people, uplifting societies. So why then is exploitation taking place?
Okay. So because of this visa, the workers have to stay at one workplace. Uh-huh. Because, you are learning a skill. So you have to stick to one job. So that's why, they cannot, change their jobs, even though if they're exploited. If they change the job, that means they're out of this system and that's illegal, right? Mm. A lot of times they have to pay a certain amount of money before coming to Japan. Mm. And a lot of times they have to borrow money, so they are already in debt, and that amounts up to 1 million yen sometimes. Mm. If they go back to their country, they still have the burden of the debt, the condition.
And you touched now on improving working conditions. So can you give us some examples of what the working conditions could look like?
Okay. So there are labor exploitations, and that means long hours, no days off, or little or no pay, that kind of things. Mm-hmm. So those are illegal, of course, in Japan as well. But there are many more things like human rights violations, like sexual harassment, power harassment, or bullying from the co-workers and that kind of things. Mm-hmm. And even the living conditions in the company dormitory can be really harsh. So there are many other kinds of human rights violations as well.
And I guess that is why the Japanese government takes this very seriously. I believe that there's a special panel that was tasked to investigate this issue more. Yes. Have you received any feedback? Do you know what this panel's findings are?
Yes. So the panel was established back in the fall of 2022. And in the spring of 2023, they issued an interim report. And for the first time in 30 years, they recommended or advised that the government should abolish this program and start the new system. So it's a welcome step for the supporters and the lawyers, but at the same time, you really have to be careful if this new system would be really good for the workers, and if it's really free from the human trafficking structure. Mm-hmm. So you have to be really careful.
Mm-hmm. And as you said earlier, with 300,000 interns in the program, it doesn't matter what new program is developed, it will take time to transition them into that. And in the meantime, we have many workers that may be exploited right now. So very serious situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, shortly after this interview was recorded, we received the great news that the government decided to abolish this TITP program as recommended by the panel that Mariko was referring to. And as pointed out, it will take quite a bit of time, maybe a few years, to implement the changes. So in the meantime, many workers will continue to be at risk of exploitation. So we want to encourage every listener out there today, if you are based here in Japan and you notice any kind of suspicious situation in your neighborhood that may be a labor trafficking situation, especially under this Technical Intern Training Program, please check out the links in the podcast notes. We have lots of different organizations that you can reach out to, and just be sure to report it as soon as possible. And again, if you don't know where to go, please don't hesitate to reach out to Zoe Japan. Just check out our website, gozoe.jp, where you have all of our contact details. And we would like to help you then to identify where and how you can report this form of exploitation. And with that, thank you for joining today's episode and partnering with us in reaching every person and rescuing every child.